Hi everybody, today is November 21st, 2013. Iran already has nuclear weapons. Western intelligence has known it for years. What led me to this article was another article recently posted by Judicial Watch, their own private investigation into all the secret documents, what happened in Benghazi. Here it talks about Ambassador Thomas Pickering. He is also a member of the advisory board of the National Iranian American Council, a left-wing advocacy group that opposes the imposition of economic sanctions against Iran, and that, in the estimation of national security expert Kenneth Timmerman, has been lobbying Congress to win support for an agenda that mirrors the goals of Tehran's regime. In 2009, former FBI counterterrorism agent Kenneth Piernick reported that the group may be lobbying on behalf of the Iranian government interests. The pressure the United States and the West is bringing to bear on Iran to keep it from acquiring nuclear weapons is all for naught. Not only does the Islamic Republic already have nuclear weapons from the old Soviet Union, but it has enough enriched uranium for more. What's worse, it has a delivery system. The West for nearly a decade is worried about Iran's uranium enrichment, believing Iran is working on a nuclear bomb, though the government maintains its uranium is only for peaceful purposes. When Iran began its nuclear program in the mid-1980s, I was working as a spy for the CIA within the Revolutionary Guards. The Guards' intelligence at that time had learned of Saddam Hussein's attempt to buy a nuclear bomb for Iraq. Guard commanders concluded that they needed a nuclear bomb if Saddam were to get his own. He would use it against Iran. At that time, the two countries were at war. On Wikipedia, you can look up United States support for Iraq during the Iran-Iraq War. There is a lot of real good information in here about special black ops operations by the United States, etc. Mohsen Rezi, then chief commander of the Guard, received permission from the Ayatollah Khomeini to start a covert program to obtain nuclear weapons, so the Guards contacted Pakistani generals and Abdul Qadir Khan, the Pakistani nuclear scientist. Commander Ali Shamkhani traveled to Pakistan offering billions of dollars for a bomb, but ended up with a blueprint and centrifuges instead. The first centrifuge was transferred to Iran on Khomeini's personal plane. In a second but parallel attempt to amass nuclear weapons, Iran turned to the former Soviet republics. When the Soviet Union dissolved in 1990, Iran converted thousands of tactical nuclear warheads that had been dispersed in the former republics. In the early 1990s, the CIA asked me to find an Iranian scientist who would testify that Iran had the bomb. The CIA had learned that Iranian intelligence agents were visiting nuclear installations throughout the former Soviet Union, with particular interest in Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan, which had a significant portion of the Soviet arsenal and is predominantly Muslim, was courted by the Muslim Iran, with offers of hundreds of millions of dollars for the bomb. Reports soon surfaced that 3 nuclear warheads were missing. This was corroborated by Russian General Viktor Smolov, who handled the disarmament issue for the General Staff. He admitted that 3 were missing from Kazakhstan. Meanwhile, Paul Munsterman, then Vice President of the German Federal Intelligence Service, said Iran had received 2 of the 3 nuclear warheads and medium-range nuclear delivery systems from Kazakhstan. It also was reported that Iran had purchased 4 152mm nuclear shells from the former Soviet Union, which were reportedly stolen and sold by former Red Army officers. To make matters worse, several years later, Russian officials stated that when comparing documents and transferring nuclear weapons from Ukraine to Russia, there was a discrepancy of 250 nuclear weapons. Last week, Matthew Nassoudi, a former U.S. Air Force captain who was at one point hired by the U.S. State Department as an advisor to one of its political reconstruction teams in Iraq, said that in March 2008 during a briefing on Iran at the State Department, the department's Middle East expert told the group that it was common knowledge that Iran had acquired tactical nuclear weapons from one or more of the former Soviet Union republics. Lieutenant Colonel Tony Schaffer, an experienced intelligence officer and recipient of a Bronze Star, told me that his sources says Iran has 2 workable nuclear warheads. An editorial in Kayan, the Iranian newspaper directly under the supervision of the Office of the Supreme Leader, last year warned that if Iran were attacked, there would be nuclear blasts in American cities. Despite knowing that Iranian leaders were seeking nuclear weapons, Western leaders chose to negotiate and appease with the hope of reaching a solution with Iran. Nearly 3 years into President Obama's administration, we must acknowledge that the policies of first a carrot of goodwill and then a stick of sanctions have neither stopped the Iranians with their nuclear program nor have they deterred their aggressive posture. The Iranian leaders today, despite 4 sets of United Nations sanctions, continue with their missile and nuclear enrichment program. And at the time of this writing in 2011, they had enough enriched uranium for 6 nuclear bombs, according to the latest International Atomic Energy Agency report. The Revolutionary Guards now has more than 1,000 ballistic missiles, many pointed at the U.S. military bases in the Middle East and Europe. The Guards also have made great strides in the intercontinental missile delivery systems under the guise of their space program. As I revealed earlier, nuclear weapons-capable warheads have been delivered to the Guards, and Iran's supreme leader has ordered the Guards to arm their missiles with nuclear payloads. Iran's Navy also has armed its vessels with long-range surface-to-surface missiles and will soon expand its mission into the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico. History suggests that we may be already too late to stop Iran's nuclear bomb. Why do we suppose Iran cannot accomplish in 20 years of trying? With access to vast amounts of unclassified data on nuclear weapons design and equipment with 21st century technology, what the U.S. accomplished in 3 years during the 1940s with the Manhattan Project? Ask nuclear weapons expert Peter Vincent Pry, who served in the CIA and on the EMP Commission and is now president of the EMP Act America. Mr. Pry concludes that Iran only needs a single nuclear weapon to destroy the United States. A nuclear EMP, electromagnetic pulse attack, could collapse the national electric grid and other critical infrastructures that sustain the lives of 310 million Americans. Are we ready to finally realize that the goals and ideologies of the jihadists in Tehran are and take appropriate action against them? The Iranian people themselves, who pose the dictatorial mullahs, for years have asked us to do so. Thousands of them have lost their lives to show us the true nature of this regime. We must act before it's too late. Now back to Pickering and the National Iranian American Consul, whom the national security expert Kenneth Timmerman says has been lobbying Congress to win support for an agenda that mirrors the goals of the Tehran regime. Yesterday, 29 organizations warned Congress against new Iran sanctions, claiming that it could sabotage recent diplomatic progress with Iran. The letter signed by Majority Leader Harry Reid, Mitch McConnell, Carl Levin, James Inhofe, Robert Mendez, Robert Korkner, Tim Johnson, and Michael Krapil. At the top of the list is the National Iranian American Consul. I suggest everyone take note of these 29 individual companies and what their real agenda possibly could be. Alright, bookmark my site. I'll keep you up to date. Please stay safe, and I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.